Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a Kentucky State Police trooper from our region shares tips on how to identify predators online and help keep your kids safe. And a famous former UK quarterback holds a signing event for an iconic Kentucky product. Stay tuned to find out more.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. We are coming up on 5 a.m. on Thursday, June 29th. Now let's check in with Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. Now, Brandon, already this morning we are feeling the effects of the haze and the wildfire smoke, and there's quite a bit of fog out there as well.
Exactly, so it's a kind of a triple threat day today. Not only do we have the air quality issues with the wildfire smoke and the fog this morning, we're also going to see the possibility for some severe weather a little bit later today. Let's take a look and see what's going on currently. Not a whole lot to tell you about when it comes to clouds. Of course, we know there's plenty of fog out there, plenty of smoke. And look at this. This is the basically trend of smoke that has been coming down from Quebec over in Canada, that province over there. Those fires continue to burn, and some of those still out of control this morning, and it's been unhealthy here. We had an air quality alert that I believe expired at midnight. It would not be a surprise to see that reissued today because we are in rough shape. Current conditions outside the studios here in Hazard this morning, foggy and smoky. So again, temperatures 50s and 60s, a little bit cooler than expected out there this morning. 66 in Jackson looks to be the warm spot. Looks like we're in the 50s in several areas. So again, just kind of take it easy. Out the door forecast, this haze is going to stick around. Now, with systems like the one we're getting ready to track, models don't do well with them. So I'm going to show you what I can, but again, prepare for the possibility for some afternoon storms as we get close to 90 degrees again later today. Olivia?
All right, thank you, Brandon. On Tuesday, we checked in with law enforcement to learn more about how parents and caregivers can prevent their kids from being targeted by predators online. And yesterday, WYMT's Alyssa Williams talked with Kentucky State Police to hear more about the tactics these predators use to turn a child into their next victim.
It's one of those things we see a bunch of different communication style apps pop up. You know, we have the more popular ones, TikTok, Snapchat, things like that, but there's other ones that a lot of people aren't aware about, like Kick and Open Box, things like that that may not be monitored by parents.
Kentucky State Police Trooper Matt Gayhart says although every predator has a certain preference as to who they look for, most of them go into these conversations with a game plan. So
they'll start to try to groom them in the sense that they'll try to pull them away from family and friends, people that would advise them, obviously it's a bad situation, and not to engage in that conversation.
Gayhart says these conversations often begin innocently, but can sometimes lead to predators asking for inappropriate images or videos in a plan to potentially extort their victim.
Well, you know, people need to know if somebody's engaging in that type of activity. People in the community need to be aware that that's going on. But I do encourage everybody to make sure you report that to law enforcement so that we can take the appropriate steps to cease that action.
For anyone who tries to create fake profiles to catch these predators in action, Gayhart says it is best to let law enforcement investigate these situations to get the facts needed for prosecution. New laws related to child abuse, drugs, gambling, and more are set to take effect today after getting approval from the General Assembly earlier this year. Lawmakers passed more than 170 bills during the legislative session, and the state constitution says new laws will take effect 90 days after the legislature adjourns. Among the new laws include Lofton's law making first-degree hazing a Class D felony in Kentucky. House Bill 551, which deals with sports wagering, will also go into effect. You can read more about the new laws on our website, WYMT.com. A federal judge has temporarily blocked a portion of a bill from taking effect. The ACLU of Kentucky had filed a lawsuit to stop a part of Senate Bill 150 that would block all gender-affirming care for trans youth. A group of plaintiffs, including 7 transgender minors and their parents, filed the motion. The General Assembly passed the bill. Governor Andy Beshear vetoed it, but the GOP-led Assembly voted to override it. That bill was also set to go into effect today. In other news, a well-known former UK football player and Leslie County native hosted a bottle signing event for Limestone Farms Bourbon yesterday. Tim Couch was one of Kentucky's greatest quarterbacks. He broke 26 school records and went on to play for the Cleveland Browns. He was on the ballot for this year's College Hall of Fame. The bottle signing was held at the Liquor Barn in the Hamburg area of Lexington.
My brother and I teamed up to invest in this bourbon, and we're really excited about it. You know, being from Kentucky, you know, it's horse racing and sports and bourbon, and to be in that industry is really exciting for me.
Couch also signed footballs, jerseys, and other sports memorabilia for fans. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, smoke coming from the Canadian wildfires continues to impact areas across the country, including here in the Commonwealth.
Our First Alert Weather Day coverage is underway. I'll break down the threats and when we could see them in about 3 minutes.